Coming up on Medwatch today, help when having a baby doesn't come naturally. A look at one young couple's journey through in vitro fertilization. The importance of keeping track of your blood pressure and the new guidelines everyone should know about. Plus, a little quiet time can go a long way when it comes to your health, how mindful meditation can make a difference for your whole body. Hi there, and thanks for joining us. I'm Julie Musgrave. You can imagine the heartbreak involved when pregnancy doesn't happen naturally for couples. But thanks to a certain fertility treatment, thousands of babies have been born from love with a little help from science.
We got married in our late 20s and thought, that babies would come immediately.
Kimberly Cox and her husband wanted a family, but time went by and they struggled to conceive.
After a couple years of not getting pregnant, it was kind of like, what's going on? And we just had a little bit of unexplained infertility was our diagnosis.
Frustrated, the couple looked at their options. They found hope in 3 letters.
IVF stands for in vitro fertilization. It is an advanced reproductive technology to help women get pregnant.
Dr. Michael Shin is the program director at the Women's Specialty and Fertility Center on the Clovis Community Campus. He says maximum fertility age is around 25 or 26. Fertile couples in that range have a 20% chance of getting pregnant. For couples having trouble, the chance drops to just 4%.
IVF gives most couples a 40% chance, twice Mother Nature's numbers.
The process itself is relatively quick.
Women take fertility medications and grow a bunch of follicles or eggs. Once a number of follicles have grown, we get the eggs out of the patient. We get sperm from dad, mix them together to make embryos, and about 3 to 5 days later, place an embryo into the uterus to help the patients get pregnant.
Dr. Shin says if successful, pregnancy can happen within 2 weeks. Still, it's not a guarantee, nor is it easy.
It's an emotional roller coaster. I won't say that we were always positive or always hopeful, but that was what we tried to focus on. It's hard because when you're putting so much time and effort and money into something like that, you expect to get it in return, right? You get what you pay for.
Kimberly says it took patience and ongoing support from the medical team.
This is not the end of the road. Infertility may be your diagnosis, but that's not the end result. We're gonna do our best to get you pregnant and give you your miracle.
And they did, twice.
I have a 2.5-year-old girl, Macy, who is awesome. She's crazy and into everything.
Little sister Paisley joined the fun just a few months ago. A happy family of 4 that Kimberly once worried wouldn't be possible.
Every poke, every dollar spent, like when they put that miracle in your arms, it's all so worth it.
The cost of IVF ranges from $12,000 to $14,000. Dr. Shin says some insurance companies will pay for or at least help with that. Ask your employer insurance company about your options. There are new guidelines for blood pressure everyone should know about. Did you know stroke and cardiovascular disease is the #1 killer in both men and women nationwide? It's why keeping track of your blood pressure is so important. Dr. Teresa Daniele, the chief of cardiology at UCSF Fresno, explains what you should be looking out for.
Thank you so much for joining us. So today we're talking about these changes for blood pressure. What are those changes?
Well, thank you for having me today to talk about a very important topic in heart disease. We have, for ages, for years and years and years, we believe that the target heart blood pressure has been 140/80, and to keep those numbers below 140/80. In 2017, November, just a few months ago, the American Heart Association, American College of Cardiology, updated their old guidelines that were previously set in 2003 and stated that basically our new goal, our new definition of hypertension is really 130/80, so actually even more strict than previously thought.
So why are they making it more strict?
Because high blood pressure is the silent killer, and it continues to be the silent killer nationwide. And despite us treating hypertension, people continue to have strokes and people continue to have heart attacks. And the majority of patients, even though we treat them, the majority of patients, and it's believed up to 40%, will actually not be at goal despite being on medical treatment, which is a significant problem. So I do regard hypertension as a silent killer. You feel perfectly fine unless your numbers are significantly elevated, and at that time you'll start having headaches or blurred vision, difficulty thinking. But if the blood pressure is a little high, maybe 140s or 150s, oftentimes patients feel perfectly fine. And what happens is you have years and years of continued damage on absolutely every organ system in your body.
So how can people better monitor their own blood pressure?
Well, I think it's very important to know the guidelines and have proper screenings done by your physician at least once a year. And when the physician says your blood pressure is high, oftentimes, especially with the women population, they get very defensive. They say, well, I'm doing everything right. I'm exercising. I'm not eating a lot of salt. I don't know what else I could be doing. And what I tell patients is really having high blood pressure is part of the aging process. As your blood vessels start stiffening, eventually the blood pressure will increase. So much so that data shows on the old guidelines, 140/80, at least 80% of women over the age of 75 will actually be hypertensive. And so with the new guidelines, I'm sure that number is going to skyrocket. And it is believed that about 70 million people nationwide are can be classified as being hypertensive. The new guidelines, bringing it down to 130/80, will add another 30 million people to have the diagnosis of hypertension. Now remember, that's just diagnosis. They estimate an additional 4 million that will require medical therapy.
So definitely something that we need to keep an eye on.
Absolutely,
for sure. All
absolutely.
Right. Doctor, thank you so much for your time. We appreciate it.
Appreciate it, and thank you for having me.
Coming up on Medwatch today, an alarming find in bottled water. Are you really consuming plastic when you guzzle down bottled H2O? Plus, in the right place at the right time, our healthcare hero helped a family while thousands of feet up in the air.